Hello and welcome back. In this video, you will learn how to create an interactive quality analysis dashboard. This dashboard will help us understand team quality on the completed task. This dashboard has two pages of visuals. Let's go through the visuals one by one. We have added visuals like total task, samples taken from total task, and error identified from samples taken. This will help us understand the quality percentage of the task performed. Below that, we have a group of visuals that shows details like sample check percentage, errors percentage of the total task, error percentage of the sample population, and then quality score. Next, we have a visual that shows samples, errors, and error rank by individual names. On the right side, we have visuals that shows errors based on error types, errors based on country, and then errors based on months. Our visual shows both total as well as percentage of total. Below to the left, we have slicers. Slicers will help us slice and dice the data. Based on the slicer selection, our charts gets updated dynamically. This is our first page. In the second page, we have visuals that shows error analysis based on employees, error analysis based on activity. This will help us understand which activity is causing more errors and which activity is causing less errors. And then error analysis based on manager, error type analysis based on manager. This will help us understand employees under which manager has better quality and employees of which manager needs training to improve their quality. To the right, we have visuals that shows errors based on activity and error types based on activity. Like the previous page, we have added slicers to slice and dice the data. We have used pivot tables, formulas, and functions to create this dashboard. Now that you know what you learned in this tutorial, let's get started. Welcome back. To create any dashboard, we need data. Hope you have downloaded the practice files used in this tutorial from section 1, video 3 of this course. This will help you practice while watching this tutorial. Once the files are downloaded, it will appear in a zip folder. Right click and click on Extract All option. Select the folder where you want the files to be saved and press OK. Open Download Files folder. Open Practice Files folder. Open Dashboard Files folder. open Interactive Quality Analysis Dashboard folder. Here, we have an Excel file with data and a folder with all the icons used to create this dashboard. Open the Excel file. Here, we have 3 sheets with data. You will learn how to combine the data from all the 3 sheets. In the first sheet, which is the main data sheet, we have details like date, employee ID, auditor name, total task, samples checked, errors type, activities type, location, and then the manager name. These are some of the common data in any of the process. In the next sheet, we have employee data and then we have auditor details. We will combine data in all the 3 sheets to create this dashboard. Now that you are familiar with the dataset, let's start creating this dashboard. First step, let's convert our data to a table format and then name the tables. Click on the main data sheet. Click on a cell with data. Now using the keyboard shortcut key Ctrl+A to select the data and then Ctrl+D to make the selected data a table. Click on the text box. My table has headers. Press OK. Once the data is converted to a table, a new tab appears, which is Table Design. Here, name the table as main_data. There should not be a space between both the words while renaming, hence I have added an underscore symbol. Now, let's do the same with employee details table and auditor details table. Convert both data sheets to a table. Rename them as employee_details. Auditor_details. There should not be a space between the words. Now that the tables are created, next step is to create pivot tables. Click on the data in main data sheet. Under Insert tab, click on Pivot Table. Here, click on the checkbox. Add this data to the data model. We will add the pivot tables to calculation sheet. Select the cell and press OK. Next, under Fields, drag and drop Total Task column from main data table to values. Under the drop-down, select the option as Sum. If you notice, in the pivot table fields, you will find the data from all the 3 sheets. This is because we have selected the checkbox Add this data to the data model while creating the pivot table. Next, we need to reference this data below. We will use the equal to sign for this and then use the text box to reference the values. Our next pivot table will be to display samples checked. Duplicate the prior pivot table. Clear the existing selection. Drag and drop samples checked column from main data table to values. Under drop down, select the option as sum. In the next column, let's find the percentage of the total task. This is simple. Divide samples checked values from total task. We have the result. Our next pivot table will be to display errors and percentage of errors compared to total tasks and samples checked. Duplicate the prior pivot table. Clear the existing selection. Drag and drop errors column from main data table to values. Under the drop-down, select the option as sum. In the next column, let's find the percentage of the total task. This is simple. Divide error values from total task. We have the result. In the next column, let's find the percentage of the samples checked. This is simple. Divide error values from samples checked. We have the result. Now, let's reference these pivot table values below like before. We are doing this because some of the visuals does not work with pivot tables. Next step is to create relationships between tables in all the three sheets. Click on any of the pivot table. Under pivot table, Analyze tab. Click on relationship. Here we will create relationship between data in all the three tables based on a common column value. Under Manage Relationships, click on New. Select the first table as main underscore data. Select the column name as auditor name. Select the related table as auditor underscore details. Select the column name as auditor name. Here we are connecting the main data table with auditor details table using a common column. Since both the tables have a common column, a relationship can be created between them. A relationship is created. Now, we need to create a connection between main data table and employee details table. Click on New. Under Table, select Main Data Table and select the column as Employee ID. Under Related Table, select Employee Details Table and select the column Employee ID. Here we are connecting Main Data Table with Employee ID table using the common column Employee ID. Press OK. Click on Close. Once done, refresh the data and save the file. In the next video, we will add visuals. Welcome back. Let's add visuals. But before that, we need to make a correction here. It should be based on percentage of total task. Now, click on Dashboard Part 1 shade. Our first visual will be to display total task. Under Insert tab, select a text box. Using the formula bar, reference the total task value from calculation sheet. Update the font style and font type. Change the fill color to no fill. Next, add one more text box. Add the text as total task. Adjust the font size and font style. Make it bold. Change the fill color to no fill. Add a rounded rectangle shape behind the text box. Add a shape outline and a shadow effect. Change the fill color. Send it backwards. Now, add one more rounded rectangle shape behind the text box. Add a shape effect and shape outline. Add a shadow effect. Change the fill color to black and send it backwards. Next, using Insert tab, Images option, from the files you downloaded earlier, open Icons folder. Select a matching icon. Change the font color to white. Select and group them together as a single visual. We have the result. Duplicate it 2 more times. We will replace total task with sample value in second visual. Replace icon and text. Next, in the third visual, we will replace total task with error value. Replace icon and text. Select and group them together as a single visual. Now, we have created 3 visuals in total. Our next visual will be to display sample checked percentage, error percentage of the total task, error percentage of the sample, and then quality score percentage. Under shape, select a rounded rectangle shape. Change the fill color to a shade of red. Add a shape outline with a weight of 3 points. Adjust the size and position. Add a shadow effect. Next, under shape effect, 3D rotation. Under perspective, select turned right, tilted up. Next, let's add 3 text boxes. Under Insert tab, click on Text box. Add the text as Sample checked. Adjust the font size and font style. Fill color will be no fill. Font color will be white. Make it bold. Duplicate the text box 2 more times. In the second text box, reference sample checked percentage value based on total task. Adjust the font size and font style. Fill color will be no fill and font color will be white. Make it bold. In the third text box, change the text as of the total task. Adjust the font size and font style. Fill color will be no fill, font color will be white. Make it bold. From practice files you downloaded earlier, open icons folder. Select a matching icon. Adjust the size. Select and group them together as a single visual. Add a shadow effect. We need to do this step 2 more times for error percentage based on total task and error percentage based on QC sample. Once done, align them in an order. Add a dashed line in between on the left and below. For the next group, we need to add one more column in calculation sheet. Add the text box as quality score. Add the formula as 1 minus percentage of sample checked values. Here, 1 is nothing but 100%. We have the result. We will reference this value in the text box. Change the text as quality score. Reference the quality score percentage and change the icon. Once done, select and group them together as a single visual. We have the result. Welcome back. Let's add more pivot tables and visuals to this dashboard. Let's add a rounded rectangle shape. Adjust the size. Fill color will be white. Add a shape outline with a weight of 3px. Add a shadow effect. Send it backwards. Let's add one more rounded rectangle shape. Copy and paste the existing shape. Adjust the size. Fill color will be a shade of black. Send it backwards. Now, send the bigger shape also backwards. Next, let's add a pivot table that shows samples, errors, and error rank based on employee name. Copy and paste any of the prior pivot table. Clear the existing selection. From employee details table, drag and drop employee name column to rows. Next, drag and drop samples checked column from main data table to values. Drag and drop error column twice to values. We are getting all options because we have added the pivot tables to data model initially. If you are not getting this all option, revisit the prior video once more. For the second one, under drop down value field settings, show value as tab. Select the option rank largest to smallest. Base field will be employee name. Press OK. Rename the column as samples, errors, and error rank. We don't need the grand total field, so hide it. Let's sort the data. Under More Sort option, select Descending Z to A. Select Error Rank. Press OK. Now, our table shows employees with highest errors first and lowest errors in the last. Next, let's add a conditional column. Select the data in Error Rank column. Under Conditional column, Color Scales. Select the first option. We have the result. Add a borderline. Now, right-click on the pivot table. Under Pivot Table option, unselect the option Auto Fit Column Width on Update. Press OK. This will ensure the formats don't change when the data is refreshed. Now, we will use this pivot table as a linked image in our dashboard. Copy and paste the pivot table as a linked image to the dashboard sheet. Add a rounded rectangle shape behind it. Fill color will be white. Add a shadow effect and shape outline. Select and group them together as a single visual. We have the result. Next, let's add a text box. Add the text as Quality Analysis Dashboard. Adjust the font size. Make it bold. Add a text effect. Add a line below the text box. Select and group them together as a single visual. Next, let's add a pivot table that shows errors based on error type. Duplicate any of the prior pivot table. Clear the existing selection. Drag and drop error type column from main data table to rows. Drag and drop error column to values. Under values, select sum. Our pivot table is created. Duplicate the pivot table once more. Here, under values, change the value to percentage of grand total instead of sum. Unselect no errors under filters for both pivot tables. Let's create our chart. Select the data that shows percentage of grand total. Under Insert tab, Charts, select a donut chart. Add an outline. Add a shadow effect. Add the title as Errors by Errors type. Move the legends to top. Hide all buttons from the chart. Change the fill color to no fill. Change the donut hole size to 70%. Add data labels and move it outside. Adjust the size. Move the chart to the dashboard sheet. Next, let's create a chart that shows actual error values. Select the data. Under Insert tab, click on Clustered Column Chart. Add data labels. Right-click on the columns. Under Format Data Series option, series overlap will be -20%. Gap width will be 50%. Change the column fill color to a shade of black. Add a shadow effect and a shape outline. Remove chart background fill color. We don't need the title. Adjust the size. Add a shape behind the chart visual. Select and group them together as a single visual. We have the result. We have also added a visual that shows total errors. Our next pivot table will be to display country-wise errors. Duplicate any of the prior pivot table. Clear the existing selection. Drag and drop location column from main data table to rows. Drag and drop error column to values. Under drop down, select sum. Next, duplicate the prior pivot table once more. Under values drop down, select the option percentage of grand total. We have the result. Let's use this data to create two charts like before. First will be a donut chart showing percentage values, and second one will be a clustered column chart showing the values. Select the data. Under Insert tab, Charts, select a donut chart. Add the title as Errors by Country. Move the legends to top. Add data labels. Add an outline and a shadow effect. Change the fill color of the chart to no fill. Adjust the size of the chart. Now, let's create a clustered column chart like before. Select the data. Under Insert tab, Chart, select a clustered column chart. Remove buttons, titles, and axis values. Add data labels. Right-click on the columns. Under Format Data Series option, series overlap will be -20%. Gap width will be 50%. Change the column fill color to a shade of black. Add a shadow effect. Adjust the size. Move the chart to the dashboard sheet. Change the shape fill color to no fill. Like before, add a shape behind the visual. Select and group them together as a single visual. Add a visual in between. We have the result. Welcome back. Let's add more visuals to this dashboard. Our next pivot table will be to display errors by months. Duplicate any of the prior pivot table. Clear the existing selection. Drag and drop date column from main data table to rows and select only months. Drag and drop error column to values. Under drop down, select sum. Click on the pivot tables. Under Insert tab, Charts, select a clustered column chart. Add the title as Errors by Months. Right click on the column. Under Format Data Series option, series overlap will be -25. Gap width will be 50%. Change the fill color of the columns to a shade of black. Add data label. Change the chart fill color to no fill. Change the chart background to no fill. Add a column outline and a shadow effect. Remove buttons and other elements that are not required. Move the chart to the dashboard sheet. Adjust the chart size. Add a shape behind the chart visual. Group them together as a single visual. Our chart is ready. Next step is to add slicers. Click on any of the pivot tables. Under Insert tab, click on Slicers. We will add slicers related to columns like auditor name, manager name, and employee name. We are adding them from All tab. Press OK. Adjust the size. Move the same to dashboard sheet and arrange them in an order. Next, let's connect these slices using the report connection option. This will help the slicer interact with all the pivot table. We will do this for all the three slices. Next, let's change the slicer style. Select all the slicers. Under slicer style, select a custom style. We have the result. Group them together as a single visual. Our first page is ready. Now, based on the slicer selection, our charts gets updated dynamically. Simple as that. Now, let's create our second page of dashboard visuals. Duplicate the slicers from prior page and paste it over here. Let's add few shapes like before. Copy and paste shapes from prior page and adjust the size and position. Copy and paste total task, sample, and error visuals from previous page and arrange them in an order. Copy and paste text box from previous page. Change the text as quality analysis and reduce the font size. Next, let's create additional pivot tables. Under pivot table sheets, duplicate any of the prior pivot table. Clear the existing selection. Let's create a pivot table that shows error analysis based on employee names. Drag and drop employee name column to rows from employee details table. From main data table, drag and drop total tasks, samples, errors, and errors once more to values. For the second error, select the option percentage of grand total. For percentage of grand total column, add a conditional formatting to highlight the highest and lowest errors. Sort the data in descending order Z to A based on percentage of grand total column. Change the column header names and customize the pivot table. Right-click on the pivot table. Under pivot table option and select auto fit column width on update option. Next, duplicate the same pivot table once more. Under values, clear everything except error column. Under columns, drag and drop error type column. Like before, add conditional formatting for total errors column and then sort the data in descending order based on error type column values. Right click on the pivot table. Under pivot table option and select auto fit column width on update option. Now, we will copy and paste this pivot table as a linked image to dashboard sheet. Add a shape behind for the visuals and then adjust the size and position. Select and group them together as a single visual. Add a text box with a text as error analysis based on employees. Adjust the font size and font style. We have the result. Our next pivot table will be to display errors based on activity. In pivot table sheet, duplicate any of the prior pivot table. Clear the existing selection. Drag and drop activity column from main data table to rows. Error column to values. From the drop down, select sum. Our pivot table is ready. Duplicate this pivot table once more. Drag and drop error type column to columns. We don't need the grand total, so unselect it. Unselect no error. We have the result. Let's create a chart using these two pivot tables. Select the pivot table. Under Insert tab, Charts, select Clustered Column Chart. Add the title as Errors based on activity. Change the column color to a shade of black. Add data label. Right-click on the column. Under Format Data Series option, series overlap will be 0%. Gap width will be 50%. Add an outline and shadow effect to the columns. Change the chart fill color to no fill. Remove axes, buttons, and other elements that are not required. Adjust the size. Move it to the dashboard sheet. We have the result. For the second pivot table, select a clustered column chart. Add the title as Error Type based on activity. Remove buttons. . Move the legends to the top. Change the chart fill color to no fill. Change the color of the column to a shade of red and black. Right-click on the columns. Under Format Data Series option, series overlap will be 0%. Gap width will be 50%. Add an outline and shadow effect to the columns. Adjust the size. Now, move both these charts to dashboard sheet. Add a shape behind the chart. Select and group them together as a single visual. We have the result. Welcome back. Let's add more visuals to this dashboard. Our next pivot table will be to display error analysis by activity. In pivot table sheet, duplicate any of the pivot table. Clear the existing selection. Drag and drop activity column to rows. Date column to columns. Here, select only month. Error column to values. Here, from the drop down, select sum. We don't need the grand total, so hide it. Let's add a conditional formatting to highlight the trend. We will use a graded color scales. We have the result. Now, let's copy and paste the same as a linked image. Add a shape behind the chart. Add a text box with the title as Error Analysis by Activity. Select and group them together as a single visual. Our next pivot table is to display Error Analysis by Manager on a monthly basis. Duplicate the prior pivot table. Clear the selection in rows. Drag and drop Manager Name column from Employee Details table to rows. We have the result. Now, copy and paste the tables as a linked image to dashboard sheet. Add a shape behind the visual and group them together. Our next visual will be to display error type analysis by manager. Duplicate the prior pivot table. Under column, drag and drop error type column instead of months. Our pivot table is ready. Let's create a chart. Click on the pivot table. Under Insert tab, Recommended Charts. Select a clustered bar chart. Add the title as Error Type by Manager Name. Remove the elements that are not required. Move the legends to the top. Right click on the bar. Under Format Data Series option, select Series Overlap as 0% and Gap Width as 50%. Add a shadow effect and an outline to the columns. Change the chart fill color to no fill. Move the chart to dashboard sheet. Add a shape behind the visual. Group them together as a single visual. We have the result. Our dashboard is complete. We have added all the visuals to our dashboard. Based on the slicer selection, our dashboard gets updated dynamically. Simple yet powerful way to visualize your data. Hope you have learned something new and interesting from this tutorial. If you felt this tutorial was helpful, please like and share your feedback. Your support is a motivation for us to create better contents. See you again in another tutorial. Save the file